Now to the earthquake that devastated southern Turkey and northern Syria. The toll of the dead keeps climbing, but there have also been dramatic moments today of people pulled alive from the ruins. Jane Ferguson reports from near the quake's epicenter in Turkey, where little is left standing.
It hardly seems possible, but 5 days after the earthquake, some people are still alive under the wreckage. The noises are growing quieter.
Some voice is coming. Just wait.
These Spanish and Turkish rescue workers have heard what sounds like someone deep inside this debris banging against the rocks. Reaching them is painstaking and dangerous. Scenes like this are increasingly rare, however. At the neighbor's house, the body of a newborn baby was found, its tiny frame wrapped in a blanket and placed on the sidewalk. A few streets over, a dead man's body is recovered in front of his family.
People are being pulled out of the rubble here still, but many of them are simply not alive. And family members who have been waiting for a long time watching the rescue efforts finally have the devastating confirmation that their loved ones are not coming out from under the rubble alive.
Kahramanmaraş city is close to the epicenter of the quake, and the devastation is everywhere. We found 19-year-old Murad Geçiyatar sitting on a bench next to a massive pile of rubble. Underneath, his best friend and older brother Irfan lays dead.
You're not able to personally dig through the rubble yourself, but you still sit here and wait. What does it mean to you personally to be this close?
I think my brother is under a main column, and that's why we couldn't find him. We found my nephew's body, and I pulled it out with my own hands. I have been here for 5 days. The desperation is killing people. It is killing me. You know they are in there, but you cannot do anything. Bare hands are not enough.
In other areas of Turkey, moments of grace. In Diyarbakir, more than 200 miles from the epicenter, a mother and her son were buried under ruins for over 100 hours. As they were carried to ambulances, rescuers took a brief moment to rejoice.
It's an incredible moment. We started giving warnings like, is anyone there? Is anyone hearing my voice? For a moment, I thought the voices of the survivors were coming from my mind.
Babies and young children are still being discovered alive, too. But as hours pass, hope dwindles for the thousands waiting for word of their missing loved ones. Meanwhile, Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan is continuing his tours of the destruction. Today in Adıyaman, he visited an aid hub swarming with people whose town was leveled by the quake.
I know very well that words are not enough to describe the pain we are going through.
Criticism over lax government assistance has been unceasing. The slow response leads to desperation in tent cities like this one, where many Syrian refugees are living.
I'm not sleeping at night trying to provide for my kids. When the aid car shows up, 1,000 people in need rush to it.
This note is from Heba. This is Heba, my eldest daughter who died. God help me, she's gone. My God.
Across the border in Syria, a father clutched onto the tiny clothes of his dead children. Nasser al-Waqi sat in the ruins of his destroyed home in Genderes, west of Aleppo. 3 of his children were rescued, but he lost his wife and 6 other children.
We are used to airstrikes. We are used to rockets, to barrel bombs. This is normal to us. But an earthquake, it's a God act. This is the first time this happens with us.
For over a decade, Syrians like him have suffered a brutal civil war. Yesterday, the first UN convoy of 14 trucks made its way into rebel-held Idlib province. Mazel Alous, the director of relations at the border crossing, said the UN had promised more aid.
What we have heard from OCHA, the UN, and from Turkey is that these trucks are just an initial response that will hopefully be followed by larger and more numerous loads of supplies.
It's become increasingly clear that the main challenge as far as the UN is concerned is its desire not to rock the boat in Damascus with the Syrian regime.
Charles Lister is a senior fellow at the Middle East Institute, a think tank. He says after the earthquake, Syria was willing to see aid delivered only through Damascus and not through the UN-approved border crossing from Turkey.
While the regime says that it would like and is happy to provide cross-line assistance to all Syrians, including opposition areas, its track record of doing so is appalling.
Back in Kahramanmaraş in Turkey, some look around and wonder why the destruction has been so widespread. Murat believes the building his brother and nephew died in was, like many others here, unsafe for a quake zone.
It's not only this building. In Kahramanmaraş, many new buildings had cracks before people even moved in. Many buildings had cracks. Many buildings collapsed. We are not only killed by the earthquake, we are killed by poor safety standards.
The number of new buildings that came down in the earthquake has raised questions about their building standards. President Erdogan's government has overseen a massive expansion in housing development and construction in recent years. Questions over the quality of those buildings grow louder.
We have a fault line through our country, and experts giving warnings many times, yet we didn't have any building precautions, and then this has happened, causing so much despair. In the future, we must be thinking of the next disaster. Our government and people should be more sensitive about this issue.
The rapidly rising death toll has shocked many here. As the country continues to reel from this catastrophe, millions pray the numbers stop growing. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Jane Ferguson in Kahramanmaraş, Turkey.